obviously the lower the better. I think that incentivizes more, but I think even just $5 is good because, people who regularly use the pool, that savings that starts to add up. I mean, what, 670 after four? Normally, if you go 4 times, will that be about $20 or so?
Yep.
And then if you go 3 times with the community, with a community services card, it would be the equivalent of only going 3 times if you were paying full price. So that's already a saving of a quarter. 25% off actually. That's what that is. So it's 25% off, which is quite beneficial for students who don't have a lot of money to start off with. So I think $5. I mean, as a starting point, I think we'd be more than happy to sort of put that forwards. But in the future, if the council would like to consider a lower number, then sure, whatever. But I think just right now, a reasonable amount is $5, and I think we'd be very happy to see that put across to be in line with community service card holders.
Champion, mate. Thank you so much.
Andre, please.
I think you've already answered the question. Just that there's quite a palaver involved in getting a community services card. So what you're saying makes sense. Thank you.
Okay. Kel?
Yeah, sweet.
Thanks, Luke. Just intrigued about the accidents that have occurred, particularly students coming across from the halls there. Just looking at the map, they haven't changed much, the crossings from when I was at university 40 odd years ago. It's the biggest problem down the end of Homestead Lane.
Yeah, that's the biggest. I'd say that's where the biggest sort of pressure point is. It's the people who cross from Homestead Lane over to the UCSA and then into the university. That would be the biggest pressure point. But I've outlined as well Kirkwood Ave being a potential pressure point too, that the university explicitly would love to see considered or thought about, or conversation around that would be really cool. But definitely that is a really big pressure point, just those people crossing, because as I said before, there's about 3,000 students in those halls, and more who come from that general area as a whole, so really big pressure point.
Yeah, because it seems that the crossing points are, quite a wee way away from Homestead Lane, which, and with Kirkwood Ave, obviously you've got Kirkwood Intermediate there as well. I'm intrigued to find that there's actually no crossing. It looks like a couple of humps for people to get across towards the rec centre. And are you suggesting perhaps a zebra crossing there?
Yeah, well, because there's about 3 humps across that road, and they're a bit confusing, and I've had it myself where I've walked down there and I've gone, is this a crossing or not? But you sort of just have to think about it a little bit more, but especially young people, those children who are in school, they don't always know the difference, and sometimes I have seen it before where they've kind of just walked out and haven't really looked because they've just kind of assumed it's a crossing. So that's also a bit, a little bit scary for me, but I would like to see something put in there for the benefit of students from both the university and from that school. That would be of immense, be greatly appreciated, I suppose is the way I've word that.
Okay, thank you.
I think that makes good sense.
Yeah, just on your swimming, asking for your cheap, that makes sense. Do you reckon students would be open if it had limited hours? Like if our staff went away and looked at when were our low spots and said, hey, at these parks, if you go between these hours, you get a cheap deal?
Totally. I mean, anything to incentivize students to get fit and active is that's a win in my book. So, I mean, if council decides that, look, we'll incentivize it for off-peak hours, then that's a really good start, and that'd be something we would love to just see in general. I'm not opposed to that at all.
We'll ask staff to look into it.
Thank you. And Mark.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just picking up on that Homestead Lane crossing point, are you thinking about something similar to what you've got up at Island Fields, where you've got a couple of decent speed humps and a zebra crossing?
Sorry, whereabouts are you talking?
Just further up by the UC Security house.
Oh, sorry, I see what you're talking about. Where there's actual crossings there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something similar where, just a zebra crossing, just installing one, would just means that people actually have a clear path to cross, because those sort of come off as crossings because they're humped. People think, it's a crossing, but don't really think about it. That was sort of my view, is just make them zebra crossings.
Yep.
But it's for you guys to decide. So.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent, thank you so much, mate. You're timing expert. Thank you for
Thank
your
you very
effort.
much.
Thank you, buddy.
Cheers, Luke.
Yes, appreciate it.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Thank you. Steve.